Good day. I'm glad to welcome you to our discussion, Integrated Development of Podil District, Possibilities and Perspectives for Development of Communities and Cities. And I invite participants of our today's panel, Ms. SVITLANA, the public activist, representative of community of Podil, and also founder of civil society organization for children. We are the champions. I also invite first Deputy Head of Administration, Ms. MYKOLA DUBOVYK, please. I'm nervous a bit, so we have a lot of work to do today. Mr. MYKOLA DUBOVYK, please, and Director of the Program of Integrated Development of Cities in Ukraine, ENGEL, representative of GIZ in Ukraine. Thank you for joining us today, and I'd like to give a microphone to Mr. Mikhail because the first question will be for you. Can you tell us what specifically this concept is, integrated development of cities, and the project that you implement in Kiev in Podil?
First of all, welcome to everybody. Thanks for the invitation to Connections. We are happy to be here once again and once more. My name is Michael Engel. I'm coordinating the project Integrated Urban Development in Ukraine. It is commissioned by the German Ministry for Economic Development and Cooperation, and as well from the Swiss State Secretary of Economic Affairs. Now to your question. Well, you know, integrated urban development is an approach that has a certain history in planning, mainly in Europe, and is applied in nowadays all over Europe in European cities, and it comes along, or it supplements what we call formal planning, and it is defined more or less by three principles. It is, first of all, it is a participative planning, so you involve citizens, at the same time also for sure the administration, representatives of the administration. Secondly, it is what we call has a holistic approach or multi-sectoral approach, meaning you involve all the different spheres of urban development, because most of us most likely think about economic development or about mobility or about tourism development or cultural heritage here in Podil. But this integrated approach ensures to think it all together. And the third principle is that it is strategic, but at the same time always applied to a specific area, to a specific space, so to speak. So it's not just words, you always know where is going to happen something. This is, in a nutshell, what is integrated urban development about, and we are working in 6 cities, applying those principles and empowering the local community, the local administration in applying those principles. In Podil we have started last year, and like a very, let's say, visible outcome of this approach will be, as you mentioned, this integrated urban development concept. This is going to be a strategy with a very spatial focus. But at the end of the day, for sure, everybody will be happy to have this strategy in hand. But what is much more important is the process that comes along with it. Bringing people together, making decisions transparent, linking it to the budget planning of the city, and making it happen also afterwards. So this is, let's say, maybe a slight difference to other documents that are developed. I would leave it here.
Дякую вам. І уточнюючи питання, я думаю, що це також хвилює.
Thank you very much. My question I think worries many. This project is implemented in 5 cities of Ukraine. In Kiev, that would be in district. In 4 other cities, it would be for city scope. Why did you choose just one district of Kiev, and why would that be Podil?
Well, it is besides Kiev, Podil implemented in 5 more cities. In Lviv, in Chernivtsi, Vinica, Zhytomyr, and more to the east in Poldava. And the reason why Podil is quite simply, I would say. The size of the cities that we are dealing with are quite similar. And now having Kiev coming into the project, it was pretty clear that, and it's also a common, let's say, sense in other similar big European cities, that you can't apply these principles on an entire city as big as Kiev is. So you have to somehow break it down to certain areas. And choosing Podil provided us the chance to have a similar size of, handleable size of urban tissue, let's say, and administrative unit that we can handle within the project, and is, so to speak, also feasible and well connected to the other project cities.
Дякую вам.
Thank you very much. In Podil, we have about 300,000 residents. Ms. SVITLANA, you're a representative of civil society activists of Podil district, and you're active participant of public discussions that already are happening. So in your opinion, what are main problems of this district? Right. I participated in many civil society meetings, including the ones in administration for this project, and Podilskyyi district is very diverse. You know, it has many parts, many problems in different locations, but I have initiated children's competition. We are the champions. This is a mass celebration to involve children from very little age to ride bicycles. So for me, I'm interested to involve people in mass sports, but also that will help develop bike infrastructure of Kiev, because we need to integrate different parts, different areas. People who ride bikes, they're active. And we need to involve children into riding, but then they cannot ride, even from school to home or around their high-rises, because there are no safe places, safe bike routes. And well, you all know these facts. So when we had those discussions, we reiterated that sports, activities, and bike roads are very important. To me, this is very close problem, but there were other issues that were raised, like environment, ecology, preserving cultural values, also fighting against unreasonable construction or cars parked everywhere on sidewalks. And also very little amenities for people with disabilities. We need more opportunities for people with disabilities to leave their apartment and to walk or move around the city. That is a big problem. So these would be the main points. Thank you very much. MYKOLA, from your position, what are important problems of Podil district and things we can actually resolve through participation in these projects, in this integrated?
Hello everyone, all of the participants, and first of all I would like to thank the organizing committee for choosing Podil. This is not the last thing in your list, and so we see that the community in Podil is moving toward constructive development so there's no Kiev without Podils. Yeah, it can't. Kiev can be hardly imagined without Podils. So I think it's a key region of the city. So the issues that we are facing right now is that historically, people and communities easier to unite, not in order to do something, but against, as opposition to something. And so this project is quite contrary, provides us an opportunity to link different social people on different social levels, different age groups, people with different interests, so we can integrate whatever is disintegrated at this point and find the golden middle able to suit the vast majority of the people who live on this territory to increase their quality of life. So all of the participation and trainings and work that we had together during our meetings, they have linked our more active and less active, like observers, people in the community. They have been able to set them into find more constructive solutions and to work around those constructive solutions. So the leaders of the districts, they live in the same district and they see it in a specific narrow spectrum of issues. So they are able to come up with the best solution. So for us, it's very important. All right, thank you very much. So as we continue this topic of partnership of local authority representatives and community representatives, I'm pleased to see you on the same bench here. So the question I have for you, we understand that Kiev as the capital city is quite difficult administratively. So do you think the local authorities have enough competencies and authorities in order to implement such projects on the local district level? Yes, we can always have reasons to complain, but on the other hand, you can always can find a reason to search for solutions. And I am very pleased to see youth here in this hall. They are not engaged in traditions and policies. Many times, senior people, older people, they have lost their faith in the fact that they can push their initiative and see it work in the real life. And so as we talk about the project in general that requires for future development, yes, Kiev has its own rules. It has to be the program that has to be approved by city council, but these are still people out there. The city administration are the people. So as we choose, as we elect these people to the city government, we need to understand how they perceive this, these ideas. And so through these institutions, we can push for different directions of implementing this project. So you can implement any project, but we are constrained with time constraints and the scale. And so people who are young, younger they were more eccentric, more ambitious, so they could have they could do it more with concentration and effort. So my hope is that you, who represent the experience, who represents this energy, will be able to push this solution through. So some people that we are participating with, they have people with quite an experience, 80 years old, and and they have quite bold ideas. So we need to combine our efforts and their ideas. And so this program that we're dealing with and these discussions basically set the common ground for us to find the resolution. So I would like to ask Pan Mikhail Is this any different from part GIZ? Is it different for Ukraine or for different cities of Ukraine? Are there any specific particularities when you work with Kiev Podil region administration? So, is it same across the board, or is it difficult for Kiev?
As I would say, generally speaking, the difficulties are very similar because they are systematic. We have still a major challenge in bringing different stakeholders together, as I said in the beginning, breaking up those silo thinking between the different departments, opening up the city administrations towards the citizens, but also making citizens understand that, you know, the city hall is not solving every problem. So, you know, this social, economic, and system relevant, let's say, challenges are similar in every city. Indeed, our cooperation partner here, the district administration of Podil, or Podil as such, is compared to the other cities, let's say, a little bit a higher challenge, because as Mr. MYKOLA said, we and they are depending on the, let's say, relations of the entire city administrations, and there are a few things that are just not in the hands of the administration, let's say, to decide, which is completely normal, but from this point of view, it's slightly different to handle than with the other cities.
Дякую вам. Я також знаю, що
Thank you very much. I also understand that implementation of this project means development for the concept and also developmental and educational possibilities for administration personnel. And so this project is very well known in the city, in Kiev city in general, but is it really well known among the general public? Does the population knows about this project? Well, I can tell you based on my experience that I came to these discussions because I did notice a Facebook event. There are some algorithms, and I see that these initiatives, they pop up in my Facebook page. And so as I came and I began to notice my friends, the authors of civil budget and the civil activists, and they are involved. But there were also the citizens, average citizens who live in the district. They were not quite few with their small issues, like maybe having a little land for planting right in front of my house, if it's possible. So I believe we had those citizens that were in fewer numbers comparing to the activists, and I believe they can be involved in greater numbers in the future. So thank you very much, and I hope that you will be able to make some recommendations as with regard to how we can get more of a local population involved, because integrated development is also about involving the citizens who live in the district. Well, I believe that we need to communicate it through a wider range of channels, communication channels, because this is, first of all, informational thing, because you need to communicate it to your target audience. Advertisement is kind of limited. People who live in the district, they usually enjoy coming. In Podil, we have about 20% of senior population are very active, and they want to stay in touch, they want to participate, they see the need in the conversations, in being involved, and so we need to keep this in mind. However, we need to communicate through a wider range of channels, and the channels that are available to these kind of people. Thank you very much. And right now I'd like to ask Mr. MYKOLA, do you think this strategy of integrated development for Podil district, will it be implemented actually after the project is finished? Well, I cannot guarantee you the total implementation of everything we come up with as part of the strategy. But however, these findings will be analyzed and implemented over time, because working with local communities, right now we are keeping in touch with the most active people who are involved, but with the majority of people we still need to build the feedback channels. So currently we need to keep this discussion going. Some people from Podil, they are involved, and there's a local specific also involved. So people know each other very well. If you talk about Vinogradar and other residential areas, people may not even know each other, but in Podil it's much better actually. So people know each other historically. This is the way it works. People know the local news. People keep in touch. So we believe these findings that we will come up with, they will be 100% beneficial, but will be implemented over time in different stages. And I believe different administrative issues will be also resolved. And so discussions will have to be conducted first, and then some high priority projects will be implemented first. So the administration is involved in current day events and issues, and the issues related to future development, global development, it's has to come from the local citizens. So this initiative in this context, when it is initiated by local citizens, we are able to look into those projects and develop it faster. So to change things more radically, for instance, we have like certain areas of how we can rearrange, for instance, traffic. How can we rearrange the use for central part of it? So this has to come from the local citizens. I hope that the community of Podil district, or different communities of Podil district, will join their efforts in order to help to implement this strategy of integrated development for Podil region. Mr. Mikhail, can you share with us experience of implementation of the strategy of integrated development from other cities? Is it happening in Vinica, Poltava, Zhytomyr, that have developed their strategies already?
As we are at the moment at a very interesting stage of the project, because the strategies are there. They have been, besides the city of Chernivtsi and Lviv and Kiev for sure, they have been all approved by the city councils. And now for sure the maybe even bigger challenge is to implement it. And the first steps the administrations made is quite simply, is they have installed specific management units that are, it depends in each city on the organizational setup, it's slightly different everywhere, but they are these management units that are formed from different departments. They are responsible for the implementation. They are starting to align it with the local budgets, with the target programs, and to prioritize the interventions. So I think we really enter now the process of implementation, and also our project is also there, also in the future, to accompany the cities in the implementation process. If you allow me a small remark to what had been said before, I wanted to stress out once again that the strategy or the document as such is one result, but it's not the one and only. What is most important is the process behind. And so I would always promote this idea, or I'd like to see it in the way that once the concept is on the table, still we continue to work in the same way, or to implement the same ideas, because maybe 2 years later things have changed and you have to adapt it, and then maybe things that are written in the document have to be changed, and then you can adopt it. So it's not always, this is written here and now I have to go through it and I have to implement it no matter what is written there. No, it's exactly this flexible way of planning to make it adaptable to the environment that we are living in. And this, from the more global perspective, is exactly the difference between, or let's say the additional value to this formal planning. You have your master plan or general plan, as you call it, that is revised or renewed every 10 years. But in between 10 years, the world is changing, and especially cities are changing and neighborhoods are changing, but cities have no instrument at hand to react to this. And here this informal planning is coming in with these strategies in order to make things happen in this period. And for sure it has to be aligned to the master plan, but the next master plan then should be based on the results of those strategies.
І, власне, останнє питання, власне, теж до Міхаеля, для того, щоб підвести підсумок. Що відбудеться після того, як завершиться проект в місті?
Final comment, after this project is over with and the financing of this project will be over, what will be the next steps?
Also the project is from the very beginning, let's say, thought and planned to ensure sustainability. So for sure, once we have to withdraw, because this is the logic of projects, they have an end and they have a beginning and they have an end, then we hope and we are sure that things are not falling apart, and that all the city halls, but also this Kiev city administration and Podil administration has taken on, maybe not 100%, but at least the major principles of integrated urban development, and is continuing applying them. And for instance, having the city of Lviv in mind, where we used to work since a very long time and have reduced very much our input into accompanying the city, I would say it was quite successful. They are now implementing or using integrated urban development approaches at a larger scale, and results are visible. So this would be my hope, and I also think the hope of my colleagues from the Podil team of the project, that things will continue in the way that we have prepared.
Дякую вам. Я бачу, що в нас лише...
Thank you very much. We only have several minutes left. I would like to ask this final question of Ms. Svitlana and Mr. MYKOLA, maybe 1 minute each. So today's topic is communities. So do you feel the influence for the project of integrated development of the hromadas, of communities? Do you feel how this is influencing the life and development of communities? And how can this influence the life of and development of communities? Let me tell you that we are actually meeting, and this is a platform for meeting different NGOs and initiatives. So this gives us an opportunity to unite, and we have united. And so the children's town in Kurenivka already has its own history, and will have a public opening. And so I was able to submit public budget. So as a result of this project, this was a big move for us. Thank you very much. So I would like to say that in our work, the administration is working with initiatives of the citizens. So within the context of integrated development, we're not just taking into attention specific ideas. We hope to develop this into a platform that will integrate in the future different opinions and different ideas. So in the future it will be implemented within the scope of the geographies and resources that we can attract. So the priorities here also include our partnership with local citizens. So we would like to invite you to voice your opinions, implement, and develop your opinions. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us for this discussion. During the break, you will be able to discuss in greater detail these topics and maybe ask questions to our participants, maybe voice some bold ideas regarding development of Podil district in this territory in Podil. So thank you very much. Please join us. We have a Facebook page and also an integrated development website. So please track us in the news and come to meet us at public hearings.